welcome back, footy fans, to another episode of Donnie's Disposals. I am your host, Coach Donnie Hess here, back with another AFL round review. Ladies and gentlemen, we have hit that fun time of the year. The buys have started because the lovely opening round has caused all sorts of fun when it comes to it. But we've got footy to talk, and we've got a little bit of a change. My original co-host had some issues, had some family things. So Horse from Inside Sports again, we're sending out our thoughts with you on that. I know she had some family with some family issues. I know if he listens to it. So Horse, again, we're keeping your family in your thought in our thoughts for this on that. I'm not going to release what happened, but he was so great. He messages me, he goes, Donnie, I can't do it, but I have a mate. I have a few mates who I think we're going to hop on. So joining me today, also from Inside Sports, we have SC Flanders or Brody Flanders hopping on. So Flanders, thank you for hopping on the podcast. I appreciate you stepping in for Horse for this on this particular occasion.
That's all right, mate. I'm keen to be here. I'll happily sub in for the old man, and yeah, I'll let him catch some Zeds and yeah, rest and recover. But it's great to be here and to be part of the show.
Fantastic, fantastic. We will hopefully I will try to reach out to Horse and see if we can get him on later in the year because I know he is fantastic with what he knows and all that. It's always fun to chat with him, but cannot wait to sit here and have a nice chat with Flanders. So, we got to go to it before we break down each of these games, before we talk each of these games. I like an overview. So, Flanders, do me a favor. What were your thoughts on this interesting, fun, fascinating round two?
The round started great and it turned to crap by the end of it. I Sunday Sunday was I wondered why I was watching football in the end, but earlier on in the week it was wonderful watching a footy. Come Sunday, I think most people were just counting down the days until the end there, but we still enjoyed footy because that's what we enjoy.
No, 100% with you on that. I know there's several of the podcasts that I listens to that they looked at that Sunday slate and went, why do you punish us? Why do you punish us? But hey, I will say this. The North Melbourne West Coast Eagles game was a little more entertaining than I originally thought it might be. So I will put that caveat on there. So let's jump to it. Let's go through each of these games. Let's talk about the fantastic footy. As painful as it is to start off the way we have to start off with the Thursday night footy. Sees the Hawthorn Hawks get a big win on their home ground at the MCG, 99-82 over the Sydney Swans. Tough one for me. It's not always fun to wake up early and see your team lose, but it was a fantastic game of football, despite the outs for Sydney. Again, I will never make an excuse for a team because injuries happen to everybody. Sydney fought valiantly, but the Hawks just too good in the end.
Yeah, they were in the end. A couple of big bags by Gunston and Dillmore that led the way there. Joe Newcomb, 31 touches and 9 clearances, getting himself back to his best, and obviously no Will Day for the better part of the start of the season. Somebody had to step up. Good to see him there as well. Josh Ward as well.
Mhm.
Helping carry that midfield load, but yeah, plenty of halfback distribution for the Swans, mate. Obviously, Nick Blakey and then Cal Mills moves his way towards the midfield there, and Chad Warner needs that bigger role with no Earl Goulden and with no Isaac Heaney.
Yeah, and then Justin McInerney has been quite a wonder this year. Being healthy and stepping through, I think he's been fantastic. Um, I know that there's been tons of talk of the disappointingness that is Charlie Curnow. I know part of Blues Nation is absolutely celebrating again. I'm one of those. I was iffy on Charlie Curnow. Right now, he's proving me right. I mean, I know the opening round it was fantastic for him to kick three, but this is the thing that I worry about is the fact is that when he is off, he's off. And
Yep.
that's I think this is the frustrating part of it. Again, I'm not going to kick him while he's down. I think this is the butt kicking he deserved, maybe a little bit. And I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on in the rooms. I would love to be a fly on the wall when Coxie has pulls him aside. It'd be fantastic to hear what's going on, like because
Yep.
I don't know, but some of the vision was a little frightening that the lack of effort or the lack of hunt, shall we say.
Yep.
I know it's easy to hunt when you're winning. It's easy to hunt when the ball's there all the time. Do you have the hunt when the ball's not there and then it does come down there? Will you do that extra effort? And right now, it's not there, which is frustrating because that's not something Sydney Siders are used to. Where they're used to seeing the all-out effort from their team, even in losses. I mean, you have the Tommy Papleys. I think Malcolm Roses Jr., surprisingly, he hasn't had the plaudits that that Curnow has had, but I think Rosas Jr. has been fantastic for them. I think he stepped into that small forward role that Will Hayward has, and it's brought a little bit of a different twist to it. He's not the marking option that Will Hayward was, but now he brings that quickness and that little bit of flair on the ground, picking up ground balls that I think Sydney's missing a little bit when Tommy Papley is not at 100%. So we will definitely have to see. And then I think Jai Sarong, there's still some Hawthorne people that are not happy he got away. I think
It was
he's been really good. I think he's been really solid. Very few issues. I know he shifted up to the wing a little bit too, along with the halfback flanker positions. When you have Blakey Bison and Cal Mills playing that halfback line, it really is hard to find Jai a spot. So his ability to go up on the wing with no Braid with Braden Campbell having his injury issues, that one of that wing spots that Jake Lloyd has kind of taken, there's that open spot. So it's been fun to
mm,
see Jai be able to step there or maybe even shift back a little bit to give McLean and McCartan a little bit of a chomp out a little bit being a taller defender. So it's been
especially at
fun.
his height.
Yeah, yeah,
193,
100%.
big
Yeah.
dude, and yeah, a
Yep.
lot of growth for him there.
Yep. No, but I mean Nick Watson was fantastic for the Hawks. Like it was
Mm,
fun. Connor Nash was amazing. Again, Jai Newcomb, as you said, was just absolutely incredible. Loved what he's doing. It's still I'm a little interested to see how they go against some of the bigger body midfielders as they go on through the later year because they have been smashed before. So it'll be
mm,
interesting to see is this a sugar hit for Hawthorne or does this maybe lead to that emergence of Ward and McKenzie and some of these younger midfielders until Will Day hopefully
yep.
returns. Like I said, we'll cross our fingers. You never want to see somebody have the woeful injury issues that Will Day is having. So again, we'll touch wood, shall we say, that he is back as soon as possible. Let's shift to the Friday night football match, which was absolutely magnificent over at the Adelaide
Oh,
Oval as the Crows fall short to the Western Bulldogs, 94-88, and an incredible game of football. And the Western Bulldogs last year one win against the top eight sides. This year, three games, three wins over last year's top eight sides. The doggies are absolutely humming right now.
yeah, for sure. Joel Frazier kicked it off pretty early for them. Couple of
Baby Bond.
goals for him. Yeah, baby Bont. Just proving that he's becoming more and more deserving in in the AFL of that.
Yep.
Jordan Butts gets his first goal after a lot of years in the league as well there. And yeah, I think Oscar Baker, that handlebar mustache, it suits him. It suits him
Yep.
too well. I think he looked with a big old grin there. You wouldn't have thought he only had the 8 touches in the end with the
Mm-hmm.
3 goals. He kicked them when they mattered, and that final one was the one they needed. So
Yep. Nope.
yeah, I think like we've probably seen it. Good to see Thilthorpe, Fogarty, and Tex Walker kicked 8 between them.
Yep.
Really good showing for the three-headed monster there. Sorry,
Yep.
7 between them.
And great to see Rochelle back from the injury from last year and playing really, really well. I think Isaac Rankin is still kind of slowly getting himself back up to top bid. I think he'll be cherry ripe come mid-season, which will be fantastic for them. The
Mm,
other scary part is the fact is that Adelaide still isn't 100%. Dan Curtin's still out. Keen's still out. It'll be interesting to see how this team goes as they get healthier and
mm,
as the year goes on, because again, they still looked really good. Um,
yep.
Oscar Baker, the ridiculous goal late in the game.
Oh,
My God,
how did he
just
out of nowhere put it
yep.
out of his pocket?
Yep, no, the eight touches just made me chuckle a little bit, but the fact that that last one was absolutely ridiculous, just absolutely could not believe it. But I'm loving what I think the doggies have been one of the teams that have really benefited from the rule changes. I
Yep.
think it's really helped out their side, their quick ball movement, having so many people that can rotate both through the middle and off that halfback flank line. I mean, Bailey Dale is still fantastic. Ed Richards, again, the most underrated top 10 player potentially in the competition. That's
Yep.
how good Ed Richards has been these last 2 years. Bont is Bont. I mean, you know he's going to do something. There's always a
Yep.
Bont moment, you know, that's going to happen in that. I think Timmy English has been one of the rucks that has been really beneficial of the new jumping rucks or the
Yep.
non-crossing the line rule. I think he's really benefited from it because of his athleticism. It's yeah, they've been fun. The Crows looked good. This is just that's a tough loss, a tough loss at
It
home,
is.
but it's nothing for them to lower their heads on. This is a good doggy side that I think potentially they're really fighting for top four this year. That you can see that they've kind of taken that you can't beat a top eight side, you can't beat a top
Yep.
eight side argument that they've been hit over like a proverbial wooden stick over and over again. So
Yep.
it's been fantastic to see how they go. I'm really interested to see how both of these two sides react after these over these next couple of weeks. We'll go to it the one that I know my co-host will be grinning like a Cheshire cat as his Gold Coast Suns come down to Melbourne and get a big 68-point win over the Richmond Tigers, 128 to 60. I'll defer to you, Flanders. How good is it to see the Suns go? A little bit of a downer though, as Christian Petracca sees it looks like he's going to spend a little bit of time on the shelf with a hamstring injury.
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks for him is not what we were looking to see out of the guy that we sold a fair bit of stuff to get him up to the Gold Coast, but it's very good to see him being around, and I think we'll take the conservative approach, 3-0 to start the season. We walk ourselves into a bye, but I think probably arguably the guy that I was most impressed with was Ethan Reed,
Hmm.
kicking 4 goals, 12 touches for him there, 11 marks as well. Looked really really good overhead there, pairing really well alongside Ben King. It's going to make it hard for Walter and Jamara Ugle-Hagan to make their way into this side with Ethan Reed doing backup ruck duties and kicking four goals.
Hmm.
Makes it really rough to break into this side there. Pretty ordinary game from Noah Anderson, just the 21 touches for him. Probably wasn't setting the world alight, but there's one thing I do like that we've had to trial with a lot of injuries that we've had. It's
Hmm.
Will Powell into the midfield. 8 tackles for him there. That is a massive effort that we needed with no Matt Rowell for this part of the season. So he's been massive.
Yeah, no, 100%. And no Matt Rowell, Will Powell steps in, and they've been absolutely fantastic. And like I said, the scary part is the fact that Jamal Hagan's waiting in the wings. Um, shoot,
Jed
Jed
Walter.
Walter is the other one sitting there waiting in the
Mm-hmm.
wings. So the forward line, I mean, it is competitive for spots this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting. Like I said, I'm fascinated to see selection next week when Petrarca's out how it goes because
Yeah.
who comes in for Petrarca. It'll be fascinating. And then how is the mix? It'll be fascinating. There's a lot of questions. The bye week comes almost at the worst possible time because we don't get it instantly. We have to wait another
Yep.
week before
Have to
we
wait.
find
Yep.
out how's the change and then how does it affect the chemistry because Petrarca was absolutely in fuego. I mean, it's hard not to
Yeah.
say that he's 3 votes in his first 2 games easily. And
Yep.
then this game, he was good. And then the injury happened. So what we will definitely have to see. But no, Gold Coast were incredible. Richmond, again, their their youth shows their inconsistency. And I
Yep.
mean, this was a microcosm of it. Fantastic. And then So I'm hoping that Richmond get it figured out because I don't
Yep.
want another season where we have three. I don't want a season where we have 3 teams that are just the easy beats. We know most likely that they are going to lose when it comes to it. I mean, a couple of teams coming on that we'll bring up when it comes to it that it's a little tiring to go into those games
Yep.
knowing that they're not going to win. And
Yep.
Richmond is one of those that last year they proved they're a scrappy side that they'll pull one out of a body cavity we shouldn't say on the podcast
Yep.
here and there because somebody takes them lightly and they're a young
Yep.
whippersnapper group. They're like, no boomer. So it's very interesting
As
to see how this will go. But
as another NBA fan, I don't need to see any more Utah Jazz or Sacramento Kings
uh-huh.
performances.
Yep.
The Nets. So we'll keep them in the NBA, and I'll hopefully Coast of Richmond start become better.
Yep, no, I'm 100% with you. So this one again, Gold Coast was just that good.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
Richmond weren't bad, but Gold Coast was just that good. So it'll be
Yeah.
fascinating to see how this Richmond Tiger sides how they go as the season goes on. In fact, let's go to a super competitive game as we have a fun one up at NG Stadium as the Saints continue their I don't know what type of Saints side I'm gonna get each week because as soon as I think
Yep.
I've got them figured out, they pull the mask off. Okay, we're gonna play great footy this week as they get a win up at NG Stadium up in Sydney over GWS 78-74. And again, GWS is another team that you could say, well, look at the injuries. they've won some games despite those injuries. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
sit there and use it as a crutch. And St. Kilda have been inconsistent. I think a lot of people were kind of leaning on this. GWS should win this. They're at home. They've played really well at home. St. Kilda has been Jekyll and Hyde this year because they've lost a couple of games they probably shouldn't have. They've won a game they probably shouldn't have. So, well, this is a weird one for me. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Because I was expecting GWS to win this. They play well at home, but Saints find a way to get the 4 points.
Yeah, I think probably where we didn't expect them to excel was in the midfield
Hmm.
for GWS, but they did. Clary had 30, 33, Finn had 32, Whitfield had 28 off half back, Ash had 39. Like the midfield, the dominance was there. They had, it was young Ryan Angwin with a tag on Nasiah Wanganeen Malira for the better part of the game, but that got out of control pretty quickly. But I think the big inclusion of Sam Flanders, who I've copped the name of after of being a Gold Coast Suns fan, but Sam Flanders probably hasn't made the impact that Saints fans would be wanting and expecting. He's been good but not great, and I don't think they'd be happy with handing over pick 7 for that. Marcus Windhager off halfbacks look good there, but the midfield outside of Nas is no one really at the moment.
Hmm.
Like Hugo Garcia was running through there, but you look at all the names and no one stands off the page to go, I deserve to stay in this centre bounce rotation. What are they doing there? They know the one, they know the two, but who's the 3-4? Jack
Hmm.
McRae couldn't come back fast enough.
Yeah, no, that'll be it'll be the interesting one on that. I mean, it was good to see Tom DeConning finally kind of show why he was paid the money that he was. There will always be a part of me that still questions it because I think Rowan Marshall was doing just fine where he was.
Yeah,
I really didn't. Still to this day do not understand the Tom DeConning move. I really don't, unless you really are. If you're going to bring in Tom DeConning the way they did, I think they
yeah,
should have shifted Rowan Marshall, even if it was for a bag of chips, just to relieve the pressure off Tom
yeah.
DeConning. Because the biggest issue Tom DeConning has now is that you have a high caliber ruck on your roster right there to make Tom DeConning have to do like so I didn't
Mm,
understand keeping Rowan Marshall. Now, maybe St. Kilda wanted more for Rowan Marshall and Geelong wasn't willing to pay for that, which again doesn't surprise me.
happens.
Geelong gets what
Yep.
they want the way they want it, which again,
Bag of peanuts tends to be.
which for them, hey, it's how they win. It's how they win premierships and how they've won so many games down there. And I fully respect that. They are not going to be conned out of assets. So I get it. It's still a head scratcher for me. So
Yep.
seeing Tom DeConning play well, I'm happy because it's taking a little bit of the pressure off him. Because again, if Tom starts playing like he did at the end of last year with Carlton, there's always going to be the cries of why isn't Rowan Marshall there? Why isn't
Yep.
Rowan Marshall the rock? Because Rowan Marshall does a little bit more than what Tom DeConning was doing. So seeing Tom have a better game was fantastic. I think Jack McRae, the sooner he can get back, the better, because that's going to help.
Yeah.
But there's no speed to him. And it's like, we
Correct.
could throw Jack Sinclair in there, but can he take the beating that is the physical inside midfield without punishing his run? I just don't know.
Like the
There's,
CBA rotation just looks crap. Like
yep.
I've got some numbers, and it's Hugo Garcia, like Sam Flanders, Nasiah Wanganeen Malira, Jack McRae, Mateus Philippou, who has been shocking so far this year.
Hmm.
That
Well,
is the
he's
midfield
fought with injury a
rotation.
little bit too, so
He's
I'll
got
give him a tiny bit of a pass. Yep.
he's battled injury, but even then, I think we know the ceiling that he is, and
Yep.
everybody expects him to make that ceiling,
Hmm.
and he's nowhere near it at the moment.
Yep. Nope.
That's a disappointing
100%.
part. So,
Yep.
yeah, I think like Hugo Garcia is your third string when he was barely making it in just last season.
Hmm.
Disappointing for Saints fans.
Yeah, it's interesting. Are they regretting throwing all that money at Tom DeConning and maybe should have got a top caliber midfielder, or maybe they holding their money for getting into the Zach Butters contest
Sweepstakes.
this
Yeah.
particular summer. Well, we will definitely see on to that. So I don't want to waste too much time. Let's go out to Optus Stadium out in Perth as the Fremantle Dockers bring Melbourne back to reality a little bit with a 118-70 win over the D's. again, I was happy for the D's to get some wins. They've started off the season pretty strong, but this is a little bit more of what I kind of expected. Fremantle at Fremantle doing what Fremantle does. They win games. They punish you through the midfield. Fantastic to see. Again, Max gone. I mean, holy crap, Max gone. Seriously, like you are an animal.
Yeah, absolute beast. I don't know how he does it. 28 hitouts, 7 clearances, and 23 touches. He took him to the showers and gave him a bath. Tell you that much.
It's, it's very interesting because Luke Jackson wasn't bad, but I mean,
No,
Max Gone is just, I mean, Max Gone is showing why I potentially see him being a Hall of Famer because that's how good he has
yeah,
been during, he's been this particular generation's great ruck. Like he is the standard that all rucks should be focused on. I mean, he's been absolutely incredible. They're Melbourne's one of those I'm fascinated to see like does Viney get back this year? Because and how's that go? Because I've liked the midfield. Windsor's going through there, Rivers is going through there. They'll throw Salem in there occasionally. I know Jack Steele that has come over and been fantastic. I know St. Kilda's probably kicking themselves. We let Jack Steele go now that they're having the issues that they're having. So it's fascinating to it's fascinating to see that. I know Keziah Pickett is gone through the center a little bit after last year's absolutely incredible year. So there's going to be some growing pains just because there isn't, again, they traded their best big body midfielders out and they really don't have any right now. So it'd be fascinating to see how that goes. Max Ruck is an instant advantage over most. The question is,
Yep.
can the midfield get a hold of the footy enough to make that dominance show even more on the scoreboard? It'll be fascinating on that. Fremantle, this was more like the Fremantle I think a lot of people were expecting. I mean, I've heard several people, including myself, going, "This is a potential team. The way they're constructed could be a grand finalist." Will they have a chance for the flag? We'll have to see. I've seen some people as high as top four for this particular side. They're a little Jekyll and Hyde for me at times, but when Jekyll shows up, they're scary as hell.
Yep.
I mean, when Hyde shows up, they're scary as hell. When Jekyll shows up, a little less scared. So
Yep.
I want more Jekyll for this Fremantle side. Be ruthless. Be just absolutely beating the crap out of teams through the midfield, and then use that forward line. Um, do we want to address the fact that we had Patrick Voss's little taunting thing that has now, I mean, the AFL is finally starting to stamp out on
Well,
taunting, which to be honest with you,
finding, isn't it?
I kind of appreciate that they did because I don't want like what Voss did a little too far, especially for the person that he did
Yep.
it to. Just that's pull your head in. That's a dickhead move,
Yep.
dude. Don't you cannot do that.
Yep. No, I agree. I love the animated characters that we have in AFL. It's what makes the sport
Agree?
so special. But there is a line that you do need to understand. You can dance on, but if you cross it, you've got to live and wear the costs
Hmm.
of it. And in that case, there, I think when I was watching it live, it was one of those things you wondered how far he was going. And I think for the umpires, obviously, there they heard a bit more that was going on, and if they deemed it appropriate to be fined, then I'm willing for them to draw the line somewhere.
Yep, no, 100%. I'm with you. I am 100% with you on
One
that.
thing that probably is the only concerning thing I've pulled out of this game for Freo fans is you can have Andrew Brayshaw, or you can have Caleb Sarong, but you can never have both of them doing well at the same time. You've had
I've
39 from Brayshaw and just the 16, I think it was, from
Yeah, it
Sarong.
was not much.
But you
Yep.
can't have both of them dishing out 28 pluses each game. It's one or the other and never both.
Yeah, that's got to be a little concerning. You're hoping Longmuir can figure something out to get them both going because again, how scary would that be if they're both pulling out 26, 27, 28 touches and disposals in a game. So
Yep.
another pet peeve. Can I go on really quickly? I'm really tired of announcers saying he has zero touches in the game. It's like no, he has zero disposals in the game. Like
Yep.
I'm sorry. It just really does my head in how many times they say touches when they mean disposals because you can literally touch the football and never get any stat off of it.
Yep.
I've seen so
Oh,
many games
crazy.
where like he hasn't even touched the footy and literally 10 seconds earlier he fumbled it and the other
Yep.
team got the ball. I'm like, so he touched it. He just didn't possess it. So
Possessive.
sorry,
Yep.
it's been really irking at me that how many times the call team has said something. And it's like come on, you're talking disposals, you're not talking about touches. It's a completely different thing, but whatever.
Exactly, exactly.
Let's quickly go through the Sunday slate. There's not much to talk about. I mean, in both of these games, well, in one of these games, it was literally shit team versus better team. I won't say great team. I won't say good team. I mean, better team. Um, I mean, let's just go through it. I mean, Essendon were absolute Scheitenhausen. Let's just
Yep.
be honest. I mean, Port Adelaide,
Call
who
it
got
what it is.
smashed by North the week before, absolutely put a whooping on Essendon by 63, 133-70. I have I am not used to seeing a a Scott team play so shit. Like I'm just not used to
No,
it.
no,
And he came out very strong.
yeah,
Do I agree with where he threw some of his arrows? I thought Nat Cat. I think Nate Caddy was pretty good for you. So for you to
mm,
throw an arrow at him was a little shocking. So I mean,
yeah,
Josh Carr, I'm happy for him. He gets the win. It's fantastic for him. But I mean, how much can you really put into this? Because I mean, Essendon looked to be the wooden spooners pretty
yeah.
easily unless they pull their heads out of their rear ends because that was shocking.
It was. It was. I wouldn't be shocked to see some big names and probably some names of great stature as well potentially be removed from the side after this loss. Probably just a week, but potentially just a statement item. You may
Mhm,
see the likes of a Parish, a Durham, a somebody who may not be a per se deserving guy to receive it, but a statement piece where you've got to draw the line somewhere, and
mhm,
drawing the line at that is what you've got to do. This midfield is full of studded names. Caldwell is a great guy.
mhm,
Merritt, Parish, Durham, but you can't lose the midfield battle the way you did. I understand they have Zach Butters, but he had 36. But you let Jason Horn-Francis have 26. Jack Watkins had 23. Like
mhm.
you got decimated in there, and you've got to accept it.
Yep, no, 100%. And Jack Lukosius, it's great to see him healthy and playing
Yep.
good football. I know his time at Gold Coast was less than ideal when it comes to it. So I'm hoping and wishing him the best at Port Adelaide.
Yep.
I know with Dixon's retirement, they need that talisman. Could Lukosius be that guy? We'll have to see. But
Great foot.
great to see him play better. I mean, Port Adelaide. I mean, the guys that did it really sucks what happened to Connor Rosie. That's gonna hurt. And that's gonna hurt a
Yeah.
lot. This is Nick Carr, Coach Carr is gonna get tested on how he handles this because Rosie has been such a great player for them, being able to shift to that halfback flanker position, that runoff halfback position that has really become in vogue over the last couple of seasons. That's going to be a big
Also missing
loss.
too.
Yep.
That's another
Yep.
thing. Missing Bergman as well for the next few weeks. So
Yep.
something to keep an eye out there is how they battle over missing both. Missing one of the two is always difficult, but missing
Yep.
both, they're going to have to bring somebody in for halfback and somebody in for the midfield role.
Yep, yep. And Kane Farrell is great with footy in hand, but when the footy is not in hand, he can be a little bit of a defensive liability. So we'll definitely have to see on that. We will get off that game because again, I'm Don's Nation. I love you guys to death. You're a passionate group. I don't want to kick you any more than I already am. So we will step off of that and move out to off the stadium again as the West Coast Eagles get a win over North Melbourne, 111-94. I mean, it's easy to say. I mean, it's their two top draft picks both had fantastic games as Duft Titler and Willem
Mm-hmm.
Dersma both have coming outs in their first home games in front of the Optus Stadium crowd.
Yeah, for sure. Both of them kicking 2 goals each there. Yeah, CDT got his fair bit of time in the ruck as well, which was great to see. And Willem Dersmer is just showing why he has that skill that we all sort of knew coming out of junior footy, and it's translating over probably better than some of us expected.
Mhm.
Small frame body, but he has put all of that aside, and he's just coming out and playing wonderful footy. And yeah, gets the first honours over his brother Zane.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. I'm again, Harley Reid was playing really well. Seeing the no names that are surprisingly doing really well, like McCarthy, the mid season draft pick, playing fantastic, and then Mylan Murdoch has come out of nowhere. Like
Yep.
nobody's expecting what this young man is doing now. I mean, kicking goals, looking fantastic for this West Coast Eagles side. I mean, it's got announcers going. Has West Coast jumped Essendon? Has
Yeah,
has West Coast, who we've all been questioning for the last 3 seasons, has West Coast gone past Essendon? Like it's
yeah,
crazy to think.
scary
And then
thought.
and I don't want to do it because again, just like the Dons, North has been kicked and kicked a lot. But this is a game, man, they've got to be kicking themselves because they let one get away because they had an incredibly great first quarter and then
Mhm.
it just absolutely went south from there.
Yeah, for sure. I suppose things only just get worse out there, sadly, for West Coast fans with Milan Murdoch having a hamstring strain as well. So after having a wonderful game, hamstring strain listed as TBC on today's injury report. So bad news there for them. Yeah, that is only recent news to us, but yeah, Milan Murdoch disappointing there. But the Roos, where do we start? Were great last week, and then yeah, can't seem to piece it together when they play West Coast.
Yeah, I feel bad because again, I have so many North supporters who I know and they're great people and I just want them to have some success and just to go from the
Mm.
highs of playing so well in that first game to absolutely just I mean falling apart. It's very frustrating. Again,
It
it's
is.
it's like I said with a Scott coach team to see the great Clarko have as many struggles as he's having, is he human as a coach? It's
Yep.
it's that weird question of having to finally kind of question the great coach that is Clarko, to question whether is he actually the guy to do the job.
Yeah.
It's can we question him? Because I know some people can't. Some people absolutely. It is blasphemous to question Clarko. But I mean, we're in season 4 now of him. And again, I know some people are going, well, look at his first season, look at his second season, look at how interrupted. I mean, he had all of the. I get it. I 100% get it. But this is his game plan. This is his
Yeah.
coaching staff that he chose. He is directing them what to do. And this is what we're getting. And again, I know the cupboard is not exactly, shall we say, fruitful. It wasn't like his Hawthorne sides where he had five or
Mm.
six first round draft picks all in the top 15. Okay. We can't avoid that particular part. When you have
Yeah.
Franklin, Roughhead, Hodge, all of those magnificent players, does he have those at North right now? LDU,
Mm.
great player, not in that caliber yet.
No.
So, I mean, when
She's the one
Dylan,
cherry. It's pretty well, yeah.
when a delisting Dylan when Dylan Stevens moves over and he's one of your best wing players and he's a cast off from Sydney. I mean, what does that tell you about the state of the list a little bit? That one of their better players last week against Melbourne was a cast off from the Sydney Swans. Again, great organization, quality player, Dylan Stevens top 5 pick, but he's a cast off because he wasn't fitting up at Sydney. Again, I love what Dylan's been doing, a little bit down compared to the week before. And again, I think Dylan is still an incredible player. Didn't want to see him leave Sydney, but I'm happy he's gone somewhere where he can have some success. Nick Larkey, I mean, Nick Larkey does what Nick Larkey does. He kicks a lot of goals despite few possessions. He's just that good. It'd be
Yeah.
scary to see him move him to a Gold Coast, move him to a Sydney, move him to a Collingwood. How
Yeah.
scary could he be with his accuracy? Despite, I mean, I think it was 11 touches and he kicks 6 goals.
Yeah. 10 touches, 6 goals, one.
Yep.
He is an absolute menace in front of goal. Sorry,
Yep.
yeah, 10 touches, 8 kicks, 6 goals, one. Only one kick wasn't at goal.
Yep. No, it's just absolutely insane. And I really just want him to get the delivery because he is so consistent. He's usually a straight shooter. And so I just want that for him. So that is all 7 games. Again, Brisbane, Collingwood, Carlton, and Geelong all got to kick their feet up on the couch this week for the buys. Again, I detest them, but that's the way
I
it
get it.
goes. Again, there's so many different times I've had those discussions with people over that. We can talk about that later, but that is round 2 done and dusted. We will go to the burning questions. We will start off. Flanders, I will ask you this again. Early in the year, I constantly ask this question because I'm interested. Footy fans see the sport differently. So, what so far for you has been the story of the season?
It's been how the new rules have impacted the game, and it's from a lot of ways. It's obviously the impact it's had on rucks and the amount of centre contests amount of ruck contests we've got, but also the speed of the game. We're obviously seeing 8 hamstring injuries in the last round, and it's obviously impacting a lot of that speed of game items with people just moving faster and faster. More injuries are coming with that. And yeah, I think it's made a massive impact in the preseason. We found them not using as much width on the ground. They were playing sort of to the edge of the square to the logo, but not much further out. Now they are all the way out to the boundary lines again. So a lot of those things don't last very long. They start stretching it out and playing the whole ground again. But the transition ball is just so
Mhm.
fast now.
Yep, no, 100% with you. I said it in a couple of times. The scoring will go down. Like I mean, this happens every year. The first four rounds are scoring bonanzas. Everybody's scoring because the new rules. There's something in the new rules that adjusts how teams defend or how teams structure up the ground. So this happens every year.
Yep.
Let's wait till May and June when we start getting into the winter weather. We start having games that are affected by sleet or rain or wind a little bit more. I'm I know AFL House is absolutely loving the scoring. They're absolutely
Yep.
loving it. Um, but I will say
You
this
can't.
again, the coaches are paid to win. They're going to find a way to stifle this as much as the fans love it. The coaches are not paid to entertain you. The coaches are paid to win. And the coaches are paid to win premierships. And you don't win premierships by letting teams kick 80, 90 points against you. They want you to keep you to 50 or 60 and then
Yep.
win by scoring more. So
Yep.
I hate saying it because I know so many fans don't like to hear it, but this is the reality as a coach. Your job is to win the football game. And if that means playing a little more defensive to win a game 65-60, they're going to do it. They're going to take that win every single time. So the story for me is again, there's so many people crowing about, look at the scores, look at the scores. Let's wait till May. Let's wait till June when winter hits in and these coaches start seeing more vision of how teams are playing. You're already starting to see it. Has te have te has Will you see the blueprint of how to beat Sydney out of what Hawthorn did this last week? What's the blueprint on beating Gold Coast? What's the blue Eventually a coach is going to come up with it and then it's going to circle around the entire
Yeah.
competition. Everybody's going to know. By the time we get to round 17, 18, every team will have enough vision to know what's their weaknesses, what's their strengths, how do you stop them, what should you be terrified of. So
Yeah.
as much as I love that story, the scoring is fantastic. It keeps people entertained. It's fantastic. It's great for the in-house entertainment. The
Yeah.
coaches are going to make the adjustment. I love the lasso rule. It has really taken away the is it deliberate? Is it deliberate? We know now. We know exactly
Yeah.
what's going to happen. Are there a few things I think some fans are still not happy with? Absolutely, because it's the way the rule is written, the way the rule is written and the way it's going to be adjudicated. It's going to be annoying because these random ones where somebody accidentally kicks it and it goes out of play. I mean, it counts as a goal on the goal line. So you got to count it there. So I 100% understand it. The ruck rule, you're starting to see rucks figure it out. It's going to happen. There's going to be
Yeah.
stuff ups. So the biggest thing is just minimizing those when it comes to it. The stand rule, we're starting to see players figure it out. We're not as many 50s as this last week. So I think the players have finally figured out, oh, well, I'm just gonna have to stand here. So
Yep. Yep.
it's gonna happen. Other than that, I mean, yeah, I've enjoyed the season so far. It's still too early to sit here and pinpoint. Like everybody's like, well, Sydney's the flag favorite after dominating Carlton and then beating Brisbane as much as they did. And then this week they lose to Hawthorn. Well, now they're no longer flag favorites. Now it's Gold Coast. Okay, well,
Yep.
Gold Coast now has Petrarca injury. Does that affect their chemistry? There's far too much of the media jumping to conclusions. They're jumping the
Yeah.
shark way too much. I'm like, I am one of those. I will not even make an evaluation when it comes to that until we've at least played at least 7, 8 games, at least. And that's
Yep.
minimum for me, just because there's so much that's going to change in just the next 2 weeks. I mean, we're at round three now, and we have gather round coming up in round five.
Hmm.
And that's kind of like that's that first initial thought process because they're all in one place. We've had 4 or 5 games for every team. The first round of buys are complete, so now we're getting 9 games every week, which again is the
Yeah.
other fun one that I'm starting to see people whinge about already. I know one of the podcasts was whinging all about the Sunday slate. Like, why are we punished for the Sunday slate that we just got? So it's been fascinating to hear how they've kind of talked with it. So we'll get through it. Again, there's a lot of things that I think that are being talked about now that I think that they're symptoms of present day. They're not what the whole competition is going to be over. So it'd be fun on that one. Let's go to our second question. I'm fascinated on this as the Suns fan that you are. The Suns and Doggies are the last two unbeaten teams. Take your bias away just the tiniest bit. Which team do you think stays unbeaten the longest?
I think it's the Suns, but only for the run. The run we've got
Yep.
upcoming is much better. If you look at the Dogs, they run into round five Hawthorn, round six Geelong, round seven Sydney, round eight Freo. I think they're bound to lose one of those in the 4 week period, whether it be early to Geelong. They do play Geelong at GMHBA Stadium as well.
Mhm.
Whereas Gold Coast go Melbourne, then they get Sydney, Essendon, then Hawthorn come round seven. So there is just a little bit nicer of a slate for them at that point there.
Yep. So,
Um, so it will be interesting to see. And the Sydney game is as part of gather round. So
yep.
I think it only comes down to less the club skill, more just to the way the game is structured.
Yeah, well, and it's all going to come down to what team that you get in the draw when.
Yeah,
100% with you. I'm with you. I think the Suns go farther. Again, the doggies a little bit of a tougher test when it comes to names. But again, the doggies are also notorious for sometimes absolutely crapping the bed sometimes when they
correct.
really can't afford it. Gold
Yep.
Coast, I can't really go off themes because again, the Gold Coast theme is they're great in the first half of the season and the second half have not been so great. But again,
Oh yeah.
I think that's also been previous coaches. Dimma kind of bucked that trend a little bit last year. They were much better in the second half of the season than they usually have been. Again, I kind of like going off trends, but again, new coach does bring new systems, new changes. Dimma kind of bucked that trend eventually. So maybe have we seen the great starts by Gold Coast and then the fades in the second half of the season kind of disappear from their motto? Because again, Dimma has never been that coach that has been one of those that has fading teams. His teams tend to get stronger as the season goes on. I mean, Richmond was notorious for starting slowly and then
Yep.
picking up and then being absolutely cherry ripe come round 20, round 22, right when they're about to hit
Exactly.
finals. They're absolutely humming. So, will we see the Dimma change to Gold Coast to where even though they're starting well, they get their struggles out early and then they become cherry ripe come round 22 to 24. We'll have to see. But no, I'm with you. I think the Suns will be the team that I think is last unbeaten,
I,
but
I
it
don't
will
think
be
any club. I don't think any club makes it past round eight though. I think by
I agree.
round eight
Agree.
we've played Sydney, Hawthorn, and then GWS in round eight. I think we're bound to lose one of those games. And I think by that point there, the Bulldogs will have lost one, potentially two.
Yeah, no, it'll be fascinating. Again, I think it's going to be. I worry we're also going to run into a little bit of what we ran into last year. I think there's going to be about 8, 9 teams that really are going to be are going to be finals, and then 4 or 5 that are flag contenders, and then the rest
Yeah,
they're making up the numbers. I don't want it to be that way,
yeah,
but you can kind of see the clusters kind of forming a little bit. You see the bottom cluster, the teams that are not going to make finals. We know that already.
yeah,
And then you're starting to see who are the guys they may make finals, but they're right there on that cusp. The team that should make finals, but are probably not going to be fighting for the flag, and then those flag contenders. It's a weird tiering. The competition is really tiered out, and each year, probably by around 10, you kind of know what tier each team is in or what tier they could be if they play their best footy. So, no,
yep.
100% with you on that. And we'll end, as we always do, with my last of my burning questions with my co host, since he is a Sun supporter. Originally, I had the horse, so I had to change this on the fly. So, Flanders does not actually know this question, like most of my friends do. So, as a Suns fan that you are, does the Petrarca injury cause any concern for you?
Um, no. I probably expected an injury at some point. We know it's one of the very few times we've been able to get an older statesman into the club.
Hmm.
And with that will come injury. He's not as young and as fresh. Um, I'm sort of glad it happened at this end of the year. The club can rehab him, get him back through everything at the pace we want to as well. We're 3-0, not 1-2, so we can pace it far nicer. And the midfield position is one of those ones that, and like midfield half forward role, it's a it's a depth position we've actually got covered really, really well. Between
Hmm.
the likes of Will Graham, Alex Davies, you've got Jake Rogers, you've got Leo Lombard, you've got Took Miller who can do that as well. We've got plenty of guys who can play that exact role.
Hmm.
So it's not like we're screaming for him to come back because we don't have somebody to play the role. We've got the role covered.
And there's some Brownlow voters that are going to be pissed. There's going to be some
Oh,
Brownlow. There's some Brownlow people that are the the
getters,
the
yeah,
punters
gamblers, yeah,
that are going to be mad at me when I say this. I want them to handle Petrarca like Geelong handles Dangerfield a couple in 2022, where they really took it slow. They
yep,
really made sure to make him cherry ripe. If I'm Damien Hardwick, I go back and I watch the listings that Geelong did, because give him a game off every 2 to 3 games instead of playing him. Like I know he was absolutely in fuego to start this season, but this was game 3 in a row and injury. Play him
yep,
two, sit him a couple. Play him two, sit him a couple. You want him cherry ripe for the finals. It's great to have him playing well and to start the season. That's fantastic. But that's not when they need him. They need him for the
yep,
finals. They need that big
yep,
body guy to go through the midfield, to be that tough guy to get the football or to go forward and kick goals. That's when you need him. I would love to see them handle Christian Petrarca like Dangerfield was handled in Geelong in 2022 when they won the Premiership. That would
yep.
be ideal.
The super coach player in me wants every bit of the 4 weeks of the 4 to 6 to be the case. I'd love to get him back in my side sooner rather than
I
later.
get it.
But if
Hmm.
you look at 6 weeks, that rolls him out just after the GWS game. He can come back for St Kilda in round 9, Port in round 10, North in round 11.
Hmm.
Then he gets a week off for the bye.
Yeah.
So he gets 3 weeks in, a week off again, make sure he's all good, rest, recovered. It'll be a 14-day break, and then run him for the back half of the season there.
Yeah.
And you can manage minutes as you want because we have 5 on the bench now.
Yep, yep, no, 100%. Or even do like a little bit like what Tommy Papley was done for the Sydney, only play him 4 or 5 minutes a quarter.
Yeah,
Be that sub per se, and that
yeah,
as that fifth bench player. So I think there's ways they can manage him. And again, I agree with you. Super coach players and punters are going to absolutely detest me for saying this, but I honestly think that might be the best for him. And I think also Bailey Humphrey is sitting there as that perfect fill-in for him, that guy that can go through the midfield to be that bigger body, to be that goal kicking forward when he goes forward, that Dusty Martin role that Dimma really perfected with Dusty. That role there, I think, is
yeah.
perfect for Bailey Humphrey at this time. Now that Petrarca's out of the side, could Bailey Humphrey be that guy to step in, be that role? You can bring in another forward, whether small or big, depending on what you need, depending on who you're playing. You can figure that out. But
Correct.
as I said, sorry punters and sorry to the super coach and the fantasy players, but I think that would be best for track if you manage him, because I think
Yep.
in the long run you're going to need him for finals. You don't want him for round 12 or 13. You want him for round 24, semifinal, preliminary final, or maybe even a grand final. Because if Gold Coast play the way they can, I think grand final is definitely an option for this Suns side. So that is it for the burning questions. Now we get to the fun part of the podcast where I do my team of the week. So, Flanders, since this is your first time being on the podcast, I will explain my criteria for team of the week. I'm a little bit different. I know
Mm-hmm.
some people look at disposal, disposal, disposal. I take the disposals away a little bit. For me, I want game impact. So
Mm-hmm.
goals and score involvements are a little bit higher when it comes to how I structure this team. I do structure it exactly like a team. So fullbacks, halfbacks, I try to get them in the positions as closely as possible. So I'm going to run through this team. Again, I added this year because we have the fifth man on the bench. I have what I call utility. So a player that I think has been fantastic from any of the positions to be on the bench. So here is what I've come up with for this week. So we will start off again. I've been a coach for footy, so I will start off on the backs. Fullback line. Jordan Butts, again, you kick a goal as a defender, you're almost always in. So Jordan Butts, thank you very much. I just wish you would have kicked that second one instead of absolutely buggering it up. Also on the fullback line, we have Port Adelaide's Alir, and Cal Wilkie has been incredible from St. Kilda. That is my halfback, my fullback line. Along the halfback line, Jaden Short has been incredible for the Richmond Tigers. Gold Coast Joel Jeffrey kicks a goal off the halfback line. We will tuck him in there. And the disposal machine now, that is Lockie Ash of the GWS Giants, is also the other halfbacks. On the wings, we have Bailey Williams of the Western Bulldogs, and Ed Langdon of the Melbourne Demons will be lining up on my wings. Through the guts, we have Tuke Miller of the Gold Coast Suns, Clayton Oliver of the GWS Giants, and Andrew Brayshaw of the Fremantle Dockers. Are through the guts with Ruck Brody Grundy will step in as the ruck for this particular team. Along the halfback line, we have Essendon's Nate Caddy, Port Adelaide's Jason Horn Francis. I know some people are going, Coach, you hate when midfielders get put in the forward line. Jason Horn Francis played just as much forward as he did midfield, so I can tuck him in there and not step away from my tradition of wanting forwards in forward positions. And Fremantle's Josh Tracy will round out the half forward line, and the full forward line, the ageless wonder that is Jack Gunston will take one of the full forward spots. Ben King of the Gold Coast Suns and Nick Larkey of the North Melbourne Kangaroos round out the starting lineup for Coach's Team of the Week. On the bench, Jack Sinclair will be our defender. Our ruck will be Luke Jackson of the Fremantle Dockers. Our midfielder will be Will Dersma of the West Coast Eagles. Our forward will be Baby Bont Joel Frazier. And my utility, again, I got to watch this guy. I annoyed me every time he got it, but I will say it. Jai Newcomb of the Hawthorn Hawks is my utility. What a line that is. Flanders, real quick, thoughts on Team of the Week.
I'm so glad you picked real wingers. I hate watching midfielders get picked as wingers. I was so glad when you said Bailey Williams and Ed Langdon because they are some of the best true wingers.
Yep.
Ollie Dempsey is another guy, obviously didn't play this week on the bye, but
Yep.
seeing true wingers named in wing positions is just so good to
You
see.
have to
They
watch
were
my pod,
great.
sir, because I have
Oh,
made that such an argument with so many people that I go, if they're you're gonna have winger positions, and it's the same thing with my All Australians. I make this argument so many times.
yep,
I think the All Australian selection board is lazy. And I've said
yep,
it numerous times. I get it, okay? There's some magnificent midfielders that play our game. It is fantastic. But stop giving spots to midfielders in the forward line that never play forward. I'm sorry.
they're not
If
forwards.
if Andrew Brayshaw, if Andrew Brayshaw is in the half forward line, I'm gonna cuss so much. I am going to absolutely spit a dummy at these guys. That is
Yep,
lazy. If
correct.
you are the footy people that you say you are, again, I'm sorry to go on the diatribe for
No,
those that
no,
listen to the
no.
podcast because I've heard this so many times from me. If you are the footy fans that you say you are, you can come up with a half forward or a full forward to stick in that forward line instead of being lazy and going, well, the bot was good. He's played 5% forward time. We're going to stick him there. No, no, no. Step up, figure it out. It is just lazy when they do that. Or my other one is when they stick midfielders at the half back line.
Oh,
That's another one that annoys me. I'm like, come on, do the research and actually know who's playing defense majority. Okay, if you get a guy that's 50% midfield, 50% forward, or 60%, I'll give you a little bit of the 60-40. Okay, I'll give you
yep,
that just
yep,
because they are there a lot. Like a Chad Warner and Isaac Heaney, I'm okay with them going forward because they are forward a little bit more than most of the midfielders. But when you're sticking in Andy Brayshaw, a Zach Butters, a Zach
yep.
Merritt at the half forward line, I am going to
Why?
absolutely lose my proverbial shit on you because that is
Yep.
lazy. That is that it just shows that you're not actually doing the work. You're just taking the easy road, and that's very, very annoying as a footy fan that appreciates the tactics that some of these coaches have to do. And some of these guys are just they're never play forward or they only play forward like 5% of the time. That's not enough to be a forward. So
No.
Sorry, I've went on that diatribe a few times, so I appreciate that you like that because that if you listen to my teams of the week, I have made it my goal when I go through. I will even like check the heat map on AFL on the website. I check the heat
Love that.
map to be sure that most of their possessions are where they're getting the majority of where they are, as on the
Yep,
wings. So
because that's a winger's role.
yep, and it's a very and I think Ollie Dempsey was
One of the best.
7 times last year was in my team of the week out of the first 9 rounds. I think he was because he kept kicking goals and he kept doing a lot of the things that I love about it. The thing though is like last week I had Nick Dacos there only because if you looked at his heat map from the previous round, a majority of his possessions were along the wing.
Yeah,
So
yep.
was he playing wing? Probably not. It's a little bit of a cop out. Now, again, I will raise my hand on
Yeah.
that. But a majority of his possessions were in space and out in the wing. So that's where he was getting it. That's where he was playing. So yeah, I will fudge it a little bit just to make it work. But I'm truly wings, halfbacks, half forwards. I try not to shift a midfielder unless it's a midfielder that I'm seeing the majority of the possessions are along the halfback line, or the majority, or at least 40% of their on ground time is in the forward line.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. At least somebody does. I have heard a few footy fans that actually appreciate that I actually make a team. I don't just
Yep.
grab the best players and chuck them into spots that they've never played before. So, all right, we always end our podcasts tipping the next round because I know it's early, and as you said, that the injury report has just come out. I actually haven't had a chance to check it out myself because, as per usual, you guys know it's very early for me. I'm looking at my clock right now. It is 6:13 a.m. as I am speaking currently, so I have not had a chance to look at that, but I will before we go. So let's hop right into it. A cracking game to start off the round as the Adelaide Crows fly over to Victoria and head down to GMHBA Stadium as the Cats and Crows take aim at each other. An interesting one. Both teams playing some good football, but not as great as they probably should. Who do you like in this one? Cats, Crows.
The Cats at GMHBA is just, it's such a fortress for them down there.
Yes, it is.
They will be missing Patrick Dangerfield this week as part of this clash, but I do think that they will still get the win down there. I think they will make the rest of it work. They will see the likes of James Warple back as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I tip the Cats. The Calarchi injury will be interesting. How do they replace him? Who do they replace him with? It'll be fun. I agree with
Mm.
you. The Cats down at GMHBA are just so difficult. You just don't see them lose very often down there. They're just so structurally sound. It fits the way they want to play. I'm fascinated to see how they handle the Crows' tall forward line because really, when it comes to it, they're undersized defensively. So it'll be fascinating. After O'Connor, there's not a ton of good height. DeConning can
Yep.
play that, but we'll have to see how he matches up with guys that I think are a little bit stronger than him. So it'll be fascinating. I like the Cats in this one just because the home. If this was at the Crow, if this was at Adelaide Oval, I'd probably took the Crows. But I'm with you. I got the Cats in this one. Fun one. Friday night footy. Absolute banger of a game. Collingwood GWS Marvel Stadium. Weird seeing the MCG not be the host, but again, Collingwood has to play a home game at Marvel here once in a while. So Marvel Stadium sees Collingwood GWS. I'm going to tip the Pies in this one. I think coming off the bye, rested, going well. Giants still fighting some injury issues. It'd be interesting. I'm going to tip the Pies in this one, but I think this is a cracking Friday night footy game.
Friday night footy is going to be absolutely wonderful for me. Reasonable time for me, unlike the viewers in the US. I credit you guys who get up to watch the games at these hours. But I'm going to go with the Giants. I reckon their halfback run is going to be much better come this weekend. And I don't think the Pies are going to have as much of a stop to it as well. I think Ash and Whitfield are going to have days out here. I don't really expect a tag, so I expect it to be a GWS win in a tight one, but I'd say probably less than 20 points bad to
And and
less
the
than 10
con-
maybe.
and the convenient part is, if I saw right, Toby Bedford is close to being back.
He's a test
So
currently, correct.
could you see him get his fun little tag on Nick Dacos? It'll be interesting to
Yeah,
see.
Bedford or Ryan Angwin, who did the tag last week
Yep.
on Nasiah Wengen and Malera. So one of the two I
Yep.
reckon will get the job.
Yeah, I'd probably say Angwin just because of the fact that you don't want to risk Toby getting re-injured, especially with Nick
Running with
Dacos's
Nick.
inability to sit still. I mean, Nick is always constantly on the move, so I would probably go Angwin personally, just to save
Yep.
Toby if Toby does play. I think you let Toby kind of have a regular game instead of having this, holy crap, I got to keep up with this absolutely little shit in Nick Dacos who never sits still and is slippery as a damn moray eel. So yeah, I think
Hmm.
Angwin gets the tag here if they tag. It'll be fascinating to see what does Kingsley do. Yeah, I'm
Yep.
really keen to see what he does. Fascinating one. The next, as we see this, the Saturday slate starts off with St. Kilda v Brisbane, Marvel Stadium. Brisbane coming off the bye, St. Kilda coming off a impressive win over GWS. Fascinating one in this. Who do you like in this one?
I think Brisbane's got to bounce back. They are, the reigning two-time premiers. I think they're going to get a bounce back. Away from home will make it a little bit harder, but I think they will get there. Hugh McCluggage is doubtful for this weekend. Still gets a test for the Thursday run, but I expect Brisbane will be able to get up in this one.
I think Zach Bailey will be back from his 1 game suspension, which will help.
Correct. Still
Still
missing
not,
Harris Andrews though.
yeah, but Darcy Gardner should be back as well. So that the
Yep.
two of the troops that missed that Sydney game, which you can tell that really hurt them when it comes to defensive structure when it came to against the Swans. So I think having those two back, having the bye week, letting things settle a little bit. I like Brisbane in this one, but again, St. Kilda under the roof is always fascinating. So this I'm keen for this one. This is surprisingly a Saturday early afternoon. I think could be an absolute cracker. It'll be a fun one. Tipping Brisbane on this, like you on that one. Optus Stadium, Fremantle Dockers, Richmond Tigers. I mean, Dockers for me on this one. Again, Richmond traveling all the way. Again, coming off a little bit of a lackluster performance in their last one. Fremantle, welcome to this gift. I think the Dockers win this one, and especially considering I think Nank may be out. I haven't seen again.
Nank is out.
Nank
Nank
is
is
out.
out. Yeah,
That's
four
that.
to. I think it's 4 to 6 or 6 to 8 p.m. I did the injury
Yeah,
report before,
unfortunately,
but
yeah, yeah, that really hurts. So I'll tip Fremantle in this one. I hope Richmond keep it close, but this one could get ugly if Fremantle is at the top of the peak of their powers.
yeah, and Luke Jackson is going to have an absolute day out, ladies and gentlemen. So
Yep, yep.
enjoy that.
Yeah, and that's going to be fun to see that one for sure. So let's move to a Marvel Stadium. A fascinating one for me on this one is Essendon host North Melbourne. Again, it's kind of like the Sunday slate from last week. Do we slog through this one? This is the prime
It's
time game
Saturday.
on
It's
Saturday night.
Saturday night footy. I don't know who at AFL headquarters thought this was the one. I'll stick there.
Well,
But
the people that are tired of it being behind a paywall will chuckle at this one being behind a paywall.
pretty much. Um, Look, it's one of those things. I think it's going to be North. I think they will bounce back. I think Essendon will make it far more competitive. They've had a rocket put up them this week, and if they don't come back and bounce back, I am going to expect some absolute heads to roll down at the hangar.
Yeah, I'm Essendon can do one of two things. They can either absolutely pull together and have a game of a lifetime and potentially stun North Melbourne, or they will absolutely roll over. And I
Mm-hmm.
really hope not the latter. I really hope not the latter because I agree with you. Like if they roll over, I'm terrified of what's going to happen because
Yep.
there's going to be very few that are going to survive this purge. I mean, it's going to be red. It's going to be Red Sunday if it happens. Like it's
Yeah.
Essendon cannot accept this. There's too
Nope.
much tradition under that sash. They cannot accept that. And what they dished up against Port, if they dish that up against North, yeah, it could be a long year at the hang
Very,
if that happens. Very long
very
year.
long.
Unfortunately, again, praying for your horse, really. You don't have to deal with that.
The rest of
That's
the inside ball are Don supporters too, so
yeah,
I'm praying
yep,
for them
yep,
too. They
yep.
need it.
So we'll move to the Sunday slate. An interesting one. This one has a lot of intrigue for me. Port Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval, hosting West Coast again. West Coast flying high again. Not trying to use the pun there. Sorry. Heading over to the Adelaide Oval. Interesting one for Josh Carr here. I'm fascinated. Who do you like in this one?
I am liking Port here. I think the losing Rosé and losing Bergman is, a big issue. But I think West Coast got over North. I think probably more by luck than by skill there. North really gave up and rolled over. There, West Coast put up a good fight in the second half though with it, but I think Port will be strong enough in that ruck battle as well, and with the clearance ability of Zach Butters, I think they will have that covered. Ollie Wines will also return from suspension too.
Yep, yep. No, it'll be interesting. I think if this game was at Optus Stadium, I'd be a little bit more.
Mm,
I'd lean a little bit more towards potentially tipping West Coast, but I'm with you. Being on the road, Port Adelaide, I got the power with this one. But again, I'm fascinated on this West Coast Eagle side because if they start to click with some of the talent that they have now donning the Eagles colors, it could be fascinating. They could be this year's Richmond, where they nip a couple of teams that are probably, if they take them lightly, can absolutely get them. So tipping Port, hoping West Coast gives this a game. I really, really do. If West Coast
yep.
absolutely shit the bed, all that good momentum that they had against North, gone again, unfortunately.
Yep.
I don't want it to happen. Trust me, I don't. But it's my worry with this West Coast team because they just have not been consistent. They do not put stacks of game together. I want to see that under McWalter. I really, really do. So, and then to end the Sunday slate, this is going to be a cracking one because the winner of this could set themselves up for the season to start getting some more momentum. Carlton, Melbourne, MCG, cracking one in this one. Cannot wait. Who do you like in this one?
I think I'm going to go with Carlton on this one. The D is going to be very thin in the forward line from a key defense point of view. So I think Hayward is going to potentially walk himself in all day out. Him and Mackay, no key defense there. Daniel Disco Turner is out with a hand injury as well now. So, losing some key defensive posts there. Wouldn't say Carlton at all by any means. But I think between Hayward and Mackay, they're going to pluck a few in the air. And yeah, you may even get Xavier Taylor get his debut this weekend.
Yeah, be interesting. I am with you on this one. I think Carlton has started to kind of figure out. I'm interested to see, does Adam Chera get back, or does Carlton give him another week? I know the bye week came really well for him. We'll have to see. Is he classified as a test in the injury report?
No, he's good. He's good now, I believe,
Okay,
on
so
my end.
he's not there. So hopefully he is back, which would be
Oh,
a,
sorry, he's a test. Sorry, yep.
yep, he is a
Yeah,
test.
should be good though. Yep.
Yeah, so hopefully he's aid, which I think with a week in midfield, I think do you unleash Chera with Walsh and Crippa and Hewitt through there? I think this could be a field day for that Carlton midfield when it comes to it. We'll have to see on
We
that. I know Pitnet has been probably one of the best underestimated rucks this year. So it'll be fascinating to see him go up
we
against
also
the
see the
beast. Go ahead.
we also see the return of Nick Newman and Adam Sard as well. Adam Sard's come back from his hamstring, and Nick Newman from his suspension that he copped in the VFL as well. So
Hmm.
yeah, it'll be really good to see a few bodies come back there. Hopefully, Cherry Newman and Sard on the ins list will help cover a few goals.
Yeah, which brings even more a little bit more quality into that side. So which I think would be absolutely perfect, especially coming off that bye week. So I should be hopefully cherry ripe for this. So yep. So tipping Carlton on that one, and unfortunately both our sides, Gold Coast, Western Bulldogs, Hawks, and Sydney have a seat on the couch, put their feet up, and take a relaxation. So got to ask this real quick, Flanders. What's going to be the game that you're going to watch, considering both your clubs, the Suns, and my club, the Swans, are having a week off?
Um, I think the it's one of those things. I got a best mate's a Brisbane supporter, so I'll be definitely keen to watch that Brisbane St Kilda game. But I am very interested to see how this Collingwood GWS game goes. Very tactical coaches there. Don't really see a tag rolled out by Collingwood, and you can see some big tag come out from GWS. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, the Saturday afternoon footy, which for me is perfect because it's a nice 8:30, 8:35 first ball up. I can't say first bounce anymore.
Yep.
I'm still getting used to not using that term. This St. Kilda Brisbane Lions game, because I think it could either propel St. Kilda into starting to play better, or it could really get the Brisbane Lions chance for a three-peat back on track. So
Yep.
there's a lot of intrigue in this because another loss by Brisbane really hurts. Again, Richmond's done this before. There've been teams that have done this before. They played absolute shit in the first 6 rounds and then absolutely found their form and absolutely exploded. But this is a Brisbane side again. There's been drama over the off season. There's been injury issues. I know Hugh McCluggage still being out for a few more weeks. It hurts. You wouldn't think so with Lockie Neal and the Ashcroft brothers and Jasper Fletcher and some of the amazing talent that
Stan
Brisbane
Darcy's
has.
back too as well. Yep.
Yep. But hey, Hugh McCluggage it's a link. He's a link in the chain that they really need. So him being out, that you felt it. Harris Andrews not being there with the injury because of the situation with the Western Bulldogs. Again, I he wasn't trying to do it intentionally, but you can't have that. It's such a bad look for the league that a guy gets RD Jones gets hit and he's out like a light. I mean, that's just plain and simply it.
Before he hit the ground.
Yeah, no. So this one's got a ton of intrigue. Does a Brisbane Lions side come to the floor and show why they're the two-time defending premiers, or will we still have questions after this round? So no, that's the the Saturday afternoon for you guys. Friday night for me is going to be a fun one. I cannot wait. So Flanders, thank you so much for hopping on it. Like I said, we'll keep. I'm keeping an eye on Horace. I've been messaging back and forth, trying to see how he's doing. I told him, like I said, family issue that he had pop up. I know he really wanted to be on the pod. I truly enjoyed when he came on last year. Wanted to have him on again because he's such a great footy mind. It's been fun. But Flanders, thank you so much. You've been an incredibly fun chat, and hopefully we could have you on again sometime because I think you have a lot of great knowledge. It's been a super fun chat.
No, it's been great to be here. Yeah, keen to obviously talk footy as well as talking the Supercoach that I normally do as well. So it was very good to jump over here and jump off the Supercoach Insight page for a little bit and jump over here over to Donny's Disposals and have a chat with you.
Well, I appreciate it so much. In fact, I will let you get that opportunity again. Plug your page again. What you got, what you and Horse do is fantastic. I try to keep an eye on it. I know I had the luxury of hopping on one time last year, and I had one of your North Melbourne mates on there. And I remember after the
Squiddy.
show, I think yeah, I can't remember after the show, he was like, how do you know so much being over there? And it's a common reaction that I get from a lot of people. I said, well, let's plain and simply, the AFL website, I am on it at least twice a day. I'm
Yep.
constantly on it. I play fantasy footy with some mates up here that we're footy heads. As many people that listen to my podcast know, I don't just cover the AFL. I cover the W as well. And then I also
Mhm.
cover the state leagues. So I learn about some of the youngsters and some of the hidden gems a little bit
Yeah.
earlier than some. And for me, this is a passion project. I love this sport. I fell in love with this sport when I played it up here. I started coaching it because I love it so much. And it's just this is a passion thing for me. So that's the reason I know so much is because I genuinely love this sport. I genuinely love this league. I cannot wait. As somebody, I finished my VFL and seeing Tassie with
Hmm.
11,000 people down at Hobart Oval
Yeah.
and seeing them get a win in their first ever game as a VFL side, absolutely incredible. I think it shows you when Tassie comes into the competition, look out because they're
Yeah.
going to be very well supported by the Apple Isle. And I think they're going to be very well supported by people that have a team that maybe is not doing well. Tassie's going to become a lot of teams'
Yeah.
second sides. You have a
Exactly.
feeling. They didn't get 200,000 memberships just because people were just feeling sorry for them. No, genuinely, they're going to be somebody's second side. I can almost guarantee it.
For sure, mate. I look forward to seeing them make their way in. But yeah, if you guys want to come over and talk Supercoach and talk fantasy and chat with me, you can come over to the Supercoach Insight page. I'll be on there. We podcast 4 to 5 times a week most weeks, so very, very regular with that there. You can find me on X and on Instagram at SC_Flanders. And yeah, come over, join me, join all the other boys, and we always love chatting footy.
Yep, I have you guys favored on YouTube. I try to keep a track on it, at least try to watch at least one podcast a week just to kind of help you guys out again. Love what you guys do. And it's not just footy. They do a little bit of everything. And it's incredible the covers that they do. So absolutely
And NBA,
100%.
NFL, NRL as well. So I'm on the
Yep.
NBA team as well, and there's the NFL team. So
Yep.
keep an eye out for all of those sports.
Definitely for sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this episode of Donnie's Disposals. Again, we've got some fun shows coming up really soon. The Sandful and the Waffle Show previews are going to come out here very, very soon with their leagues both getting started very soon. As we found out, the VFL show just came out a little bit late, unfortunately, had some issues when it comes to it on that, but it is out. We are previewing the men's season. The women's season starts just a little bit later this year because they're trying to get it closer to the AFLW. So it is just going to be the men's preview. The women's preview will be out later on in the year during one of our review shows. So keep an eye out on that. And then the sample and the waffle shows will be recorded here very soon and will be out as we preview some fantastic football in South Australia and the WA. So that is going to do it for this episode of Donnie's Disposals. And we'll be back with more footy coverage very, very soon.